today I'll be going over what basically happened in the show and some key points of things that we should be aware of for future things. We start off the show with the Marvel intro, but this time it's the usual one, not like a different one, like the Hawkeye, like the Loki show, What If show. It's the same thing, which is different. I feel like it might change after the first episode, though, because remember, this is just the first episode, not the second one. I know that the second one is out at the time of recording this because they both came out at the same time. But for this video, we will be just going over the first one. We start off the show in 2012, New York. And we all know what happened in 2012, of course. It's when the Avengers first teamed up. Before any of the Avengers are shown, though, we are at Kate Bishop's place. But this is not the older version of Kate Bishop. It is the more younger version, like 10 years old or so. She seems to have a really strong connection to her dad during this, which is always a red flag in the beginning of a show because they always want you to get connected to people before they die. And like I thought while watching this, he did die, sadly. It was really kind of an off-screen death, though. I kind of wish that they did something more like where he sacrificed himself to save him and his wife. I feel like that would have been more impactful, at least for me. I just kind of felt disappointed with that. Before she does get saved by her mom, Kate is looking through the open blast that struck her house by a Shatari enemy. We see her looking out the window, not the window, but the blast, and we see some Shataris flying down directly at her. But you know, it's Marvel. It's a superhero show. Just in the nick of time, an arrow out of nowhere hits the thing, which makes it get destroyed right before it could even touch her. Hawkeye saved her while he was up in his little tower in the original Avengers movie, which was really cool to see him snipe them out of the sky during that movie. We get to see her perspective on how she was watching him just take them out one by one, and it was really cool to watch that from a different angle this time. Jumping off of it with his little iconic jump thing for when he gets overrun in the movie with the grapple. So we get a new angle with that too, which is quite nice. Following the death of her dad, and after watching Hawkeye, she wants to be like him. She wants to protect her mom, and she is super determined to not let anything happen to her. So she decides that she wants to be able to protect everybody. And then, of course, we have the iconic kind of montage thing, but this time it's different. It's kind of more in the comic book style that this show is based off of for the art style. But we get to see, I think it's really cool how we get to see her basically going through everything, how she ages up through all the different experiences. And we get to learn that she did some martial arts, gymnastics, fencing, and how she did fail at those, but then she started to get better at them. And I thought that was really cool how they kind of made that to where like you just don't see her and then she can automatically just do everything without really having any practice. She actually worked for it, which I thought was really nice for them to be able to add that for this show, for this character. Now we go to present day, and this is that scene where in the trailer we see the bell break. But we didn't know, but this actually takes 2 tries for her to hit the bell. First try, it was just with the tennis ball on top of it, but then the second one had more of a grappler type thing, and as we all know, it did not turn out as well as we thought it.
The world's greatest archer.
After we see this, we cut for the first time of the show to see Clint. He is at the Rogers musical, which is a musical based on, I'm pretty sure, Steve's life as Captain America. They are reenacting the original Avengers movie Battle of New York, which was interesting to see a different kind of take on that. Probably the best thing about the show was that Ant-Man was in it, which was really nice because clearly we all know Ant-Man was in the Battle of New York. and he is one of the most well-known superheroes. They even make a reference of shawarma from when Tony mentions it after he gets back from the portal and the post-credit scene from the original Avengers movie, which is a really good callback, I think. They also had Cap singing "I Can Do This All Day," which is, of course, Cap's classic line from the movies. Is not impressed. In fact, when they start even talking about Black Widow, he turns off his hearing aids. These are new to the MCU. In the comics, he does have hearing aids. He probably gets them because of all the battles that he's been in, of course, with all the explosions. It'd be hard on someone who doesn't have any like special powers that are like resistance or a healing factor. So it'd just be hard on someone, and eventually, yeah, it would lead to hearing loss. Clint is still really sad about Nat. That's also why he did turn off his hearing aids. So he eventually felt that he had to use the restroom with quotation marks, but Clint could not get any time by himself just to think, because in the bathroom, someone just decides to talk to him, which who recognizes him, which does show that the world does know who the Avengers are, and they are like the biggest celebrities ever, which is hard to think about for everyone knowing you and basically bothering you the entire time. Just you can't live a normal life anymore because you're an Avenger. And I feel like Clint kind of wants to have a normal life instead. We also see when he's using the sink on the way out, it says Thanos was right, which I think is a callback to the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, which came out earlier this year in 2021, which was basically saying that the blip should have never happened. The Barton family ended up leaving, but their mom was actually not with them. Their mom is at the farmhouse because they decided that Barton should have some time alone with the kids because they didn't. Clint hasn't had a Christmas with them in a while, which is very sad. Now we cut to Kate. She was going to her mom's house, where she meets her mom's boyfriend for the first time. That has been kept secret from her for like a semester, basically, which is really wild that her mom would keep a secret that big away from her, which is a little bit suspicious, I would say. I feel like her boyfriend's gonna play a big part in the story for this, and even her mom, I'm guessing too. We are told that they are going to be going to a charity drive, and Kate's gonna be going because, of course, she broke the bell, which means that she has to go with her mother and her mother's boyfriend to the thing also, which is a charity drive. While she was there, she meets Artem Dauki, which I think that's at least what it means.
Armand Ducount.
We learn that she used to supposedly go to his brownstone for brunch, um, called Build Your Own Blintz Bar.
Flint's Bar.
We learn from him that there is actually going to be a wedding, and this wedding is for her mother and her mother's boyfriend, which is also something that she never told him, which is super strange. Now that she is mad at her mom after she confronts her, and is just mad at her, she goes outside to meet for the very first time a golden retriever. This golden retriever has one eye and it has no owner. This dog will come into play later. When Kate goes back inside, she overhears her mom and that guy that she went to for brunch for his house earlier arguing about some empire being built on lies. This leads to suspicion for what is happening. She ends up following that guy that her mom was talking to. And they pass through a kitchen which has some waiter stations, so she pretends to be a waiter. She ends up in a wine cellar, and this looks like a secret underground evil bidding war area because this is what an evil underground bidding war area would look like, I feel like. This was not a fundraiser at all. This was an underground bidding meeting war area thing. They get some of the most interesting things for bidding. This includes the Ronin blade. This can fully retract and be pulled out, ready for bout in less than a second. Oh, and her mom's boyfriend was also there too in the wine cellar. So this probably will add something even bigger to the plot. The next thing that they bring up is the suit to go along with it. It's basically a set. But before they could start bidding, some guys, bad guys, burst through the wall. You know, the usual Marvel thing. And so before the games could begin, they start the fight. The mom's boyfriend ends up getting his hands on the sword and keeps it in his little pocket. Kate finds her way to the suit, and sees all the people in trouble. So, like a reasonable person, she put it on the suit so no one would know it's her, and starts fighting everyone, all the bad guys, worst bad guys, I guess. She ends up winning, of course, because she does, and she actually does struggle some, which I feel like adds more character to this character in general. Turns out these really bad guys were there because they wanted a key for some Avengers compound stuff. I just want to know, how did these people get their hands on these things though for the bidding war in general? But yeah, they did get, this one guy finds it up above the area and one of the bags that they hand him. Um, then this golden retriever dog with one eye comes out there for no reason and starts biting him on the leg. So then, of course, the guy starts kicking him, which is really sad because the dog whines each time he gets kicked. So eventually, Kate did go up and find the dog and knocked out that guy by kicking him in the face or something like that. She ran after the dog because the dog, of course, ran off. So she ends up chasing it across the street. It almost gets hit, but luckily, Kate saves him. Some bad guys were chasing her also while that was happening, but once they found that some cops were chasing after them, they retreated back. One did uncover his mask. It almost looks like one of the people from the play, and I feel like it might be the people from the play for some reason. We get back to Clint after seeing the town square tree. We see him go into his hotel room, but then they hear about a ninja here on the news. They did not know that their dad was the ninja, I'm pretty sure. So Clint needs to figure out how to solve this mystery because this could end up bad for him and his family. We cut back to Kate. She ends up taking the dog to her place, but all that she had to feed him was pizza. So give him some pizza. I mean, gotta do what you gotta do for feeding the dog when you have no food. But then she has to go to that guy's
Flint's Bar.
house and check on him. We find out that he kind of is dead at his house. So he leaves. So she leaves soon as possible to get out of the house before she gets caught. But when she gets out, though, we find out that a bunch of low level kind of thugs start to surround her, and she tries to fight them off, but she ends up getting in a unlocked car, not locked, of course. So she finds shelter in that. But right when things start to get bad, someone starts fighting them. The guys outside, and it turns out that Clint came in there and fought all of them, which was really cool. He ripped open the door, started to interrogate Kate, and we cut off there for the rest of the show. My thoughts on the show: 10 out of 10 stars. I mean, it's probably my favorite show so far. It has a great beginning, I think, for this show. Probably the best one out of all of them, I think, along with Loki. I was expecting this show to be really good, and it's lived up to my expectations so far. Hawkeye's always been probably one of my favorite Avengers, so I have bought a Lego set with him too, so might try to do a review on that when that finally comes in. Too tired, so got it off eBay, so that probably will come in soon. Hopefully it's in decent condition, I'm hoping. Tell me what you guys think about the show. I probably will be really excited to do episode 2 soon. I have a bunch of fun projects I'm trying to get done, but you know how it happens. You try to do one thing and then you stop doing it for a little bit and then to it, which is always the hardest part, I think. You have to get back. So yeah, I will probably talk to you guys later and hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, of course, and comment what you thought about the show in general for Hawkeye so far. So yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next one. See ya.